The newest member of the Straw Hats is the fish out of water Jinbe, and I need everybody to understand how funny it is for Jinbe to be in that position. I mean, think about it. Everybody knows the different quirks and ridiculousness that the other Straw Hats get up to. Like, everybody knows that Sanji could at any point die from nosebleeds. Like, literally, he could just bleed to death from looking at someone that's too hot. Everyone knows that Zoro's legs are dyslexic and he can't be trusted to be off on his own. And everybody knows that Frankie's nipples shoot lasers. All of this, as well as the inside jokes that the Straw Hats have with each other, Jinbe's coming in fresh to all of it. And it is just so funny watching him try to navigate through all that. And I truly think Jinbe is one of the funniest people in all of One Piece, because it's not even counting how funny the entire story is from Jinbe's perspective. So walk with me for a second, okay? Imagine being Jinbe, okay? At the beginning of his story, we find him inside Impel Down. You see, originally he was one of the 7 warlords of the sea, and he was protesting the war at Marineford. He refused to take part in it, so they locked his ass up. And while he's locked up, they actually put him in the same jail cell as Ace, the person who was set to be executed at Marineford. And Jinbe and Ace are really cool. They get to chatting about Ace with the Whitebeard pirates, and Ace is telling Jinbe all about his kid brother. He's like, hey, listen, my brother's a lunatic. He's a dangerous, unhinged crackhead. In a couple years, he's probably gonna take this whole place by storm, I'm telling you. That guy's gonna be king of the pirates one day. So he's like, all right, I mean, if you say so, but also, like, that's your brother, so you would be the one to say that. So yeah, Jinbe's thinking, like, I'm sure this guy is something, but I don't know if he's that impressive, all right? And while Jinbe's thinking that, guards show up and escort Ace out of Impel Down so they can get him to Marineford so he can get his execution started. Funny thing is, though, a couple hours later, the dangerous lunatic Ace was describing to Jinbe actually shows up right outside Jinbe's cell, and he's like, get in, loser, we're starting a war with the world government. That's actually not even what he does. He gets to the jail cell that Jinbe's in, and at first he's just looking around the other jail cells like, okay, let's see. Which one of you dangerous delinquents wants to come help me save my brother? He just starts opening jail cells and letting criminals out so that they can help him save Ace. One of the jail cells he opens has crocodile in it. And Jinbe's like, whoa, hang on. First of all, why does he still have that cigar in here? And second of all, if you're freeing people to help you save Ace, then free me, okay? I actually know Ace, and I'm not a criminal mastermind like Crocodile is. So with this, Ace's brother lets Jinbe out of jail, and Jinbe officially meets Luffy. He introduces himself as Monkey D. Luffy, the man who's going to be king of the pirates one day, and everybody just makes a mad dash for the exit of Impel Down. Now understand that Impel Down is the most secure prison in the One Piece world, so escaping it is no easy feat, but together, all of these lunatics band together and they make it out. They get through all of the nonsense of Impel Down and head straight to Marineford to plunge headfirst into even more nonsense. Now, there's a lot of nonsense that happens here, but in all that nonsense, Jinbe gets a really good idea of the person Luffy is. He watches him almost kill himself so many times just to try to save Ace, and Jinbe likes that a lot because Jinbe is also a really loyal person. But the thing that Jinbe also realizes is that, yeah, this guy's loyal, but he's also an insane person. Like, Jinbe watches this guy push himself to the brink of death like 5 times. He also watches him shorten his own lifespan just so he can keep fighting. He watches him get into a fist fight with a dude made out of poison. Like, he didn't have a plan. This was before hockey in One Piece. He was just straight up like, no idea how to beat this guy. I'll just keep punching him and hope that works out. Spoiler alert, it didn't work out. He just got poisoned. They get to Marineford and Luffy pulls up to Whitebeard like, shut up, dummy. I'm gonna save Ace, and if you get in my way, I'll beat you up too. Jinbe is like, what are you? Stop. Later on, Jinbe watches this maniac pull up on all 3 admirals. The admirals, okay? Not Sengoku, the golden Buddha that just sits around and doesn't do anything. The admirals, Akainu, Aokiji, and Kizaru, the dogs that actually run out and commit murders in the One Piece world, okay? Luffy pulls up to all 3 of them like, what's up? Y'all fighting me now if you don't let my brother go. There, even the admirals are like, aight, good shit like you got heart, all right? You're not supposed to be here right now, though, okay? We got to get you out of here, but we gonna remember who you are, okay? We promise. Against all the odds, it almost looks like they're gonna save Ace, but of course, that is not meant to be. Tragically, both Ace and Whitebeard lose their lives, and this breaks Luffy, as you could imagine. And luckily, Jinbe, Luffy, and a couple other people, they managed to escape Marineford, but Luffy is in shambles. They escape with their lives, but like I said, Luffy is not in good shape, okay? It's just Jinbe and Luffy chilling on Amazon Lily, and Luffy's like, oh my god, I'm so weak, what am I gonna do? So Jinbe steps in and becomes Luffy's Uncle Phil. Puts him back together like, you know what, you've lost a lot, okay, I get it, but you can't think about that right now, Luffy. You gotta think about what you still have. So that's the chaos of Impel Down and Marineford. Now they're gonna do a time skip, and for about 2 years, Luffy's gonna be training with Rayleigh so that he can get his hockey right and be ready to hit the new world. So let's fast forward to the new world, okay? As soon as we get back from the time skip, the first island that we get to is Fishman Island. Now, Jinbe is on Fishman Island working to improve human and fishman relations, while a stupid meth-addicted fish person named Horty Jones is running around with his sex offender best friend Vanderdecken. And they're causing chaos. Like, every day they're both trying to find new ways to undermine the authority of the royal fish family, and Jinbei's trying to defuse it while he's on Fishman Island. And so all of that complicated political and social nonsense, all of that's going on, and that's when suddenly the lunatic that Jinbei helped back in Marineford shows up out of nowhere. And this madman doesn't understand what's going on at all, and he doesn't care. He is on a mission to punch Horty Jones and his sex offender best friend who wants to marry the 16-year-old mermaid princess. Speaking of the princess, she's out of the royal fish palace for some reason. She's traveling with the crackhead that broke you out of jail, and she is forbidden from leaving the palace because of the crazy sex offender that keeps throwing axes at her. So when you run into her with the crackhead that you saved at Marineford, you are left only to assume that she has, for some reason, been kidnapped by this insane person. So Jinbei is freaking out trying to explain how it's gonna look if a crazy crackhead human swam to Fishman Island just to beat up fish and kidnap princesses. And Luffy is confused, like, why do I have to be politically correct when I'm fighting a meth-addicted fish person? And his sex pest best friend, by the way, like, that does not seem fair. I know I don't understand the complex dynamics of fish-on-fish violence or how it's gonna look if I swoop in and try to handle this like I'm some human savior, but y'all aren't doing anything. Like, you can't just let a sex offender and a drug addict take control of your country. I don't know anything about politics, but I know that's not right. So Jinbei calms Luffy down, and they both work out a plan to fight Horty Jones to solve the issue without Luffy looking like the Christian human savior coming to colonize Fishman Island. The plan itself doesn't matter, because Luffy wasn't paying attention to it. They basically just get kidnapped on purpose, and Luffy waits for the signal to hop out and start punching people. A bunch of nonsense happens, but against all odds, Fishman Island is saved from Horty Jones and his group of meth-addicted fish. During all of that, Luffy gets injured and loses a lot of blood, and he's gonna die unless he gets a transfusion of blood from someone with the same blood type. And this is the true cinema of Fishman Island, because it's revealed that Jinbei has the same blood type as Luffy, and he gives Luffy some to save his life. And while Jinbei is giving him blood, he's like, you know, this actually reminds me of a really good story. It's the story of Fisher Tiger. And Luffy's like, yeah, don't nobody care about that. Listen, Jinbei, I want you to join my crew. And so there it is, the conversation that changed Jinbei's life. And Jinbei is flattered, because at this point, he's actually way more attached to this guy than he is with his actual boss, Big Mom. The problem is, though, he's still working with the Big Mom pirates, and betraying them before his service with them is over could have dire consequences for both him and the Straw Hats. So Jinbei tells Luffy, hey, you know, I would, but I can't. But I will eventually, okay? Just let me tie up some loose ends with Big Mom so I can leave in her good graces. And Luffy fights it at first, but Jinbei is persistent, so Luffy's eventually like, okay, Jinbei, fine. You do whatever you gotta do, and then come find us. Just don't take too long, because if we gotta come get you, Jinbei, if we gotta come to Whole Cake Island and get you, it's gonna be bad, Jinbei. It's gonna be bad for everybody there. I'm saying, like, Whole Cake Island might not even be there by the time we leave. So if you care about anybody that's on Whole Cake Island right now, please, Jinbei, please, I am begging you, do not make us come get you. And Jinbei's like, God damn, I understand. Just give me a couple weeks. So Jinbei successfully talks Luffy out of crashing out, or at least he thought he did, because as soon as they come to an agreement, like 5 minutes later, Luffy is on the phone with Big Mom calling her ugly and saying he's gonna beat her up and take all her shit. And Jinbei is like, what are you doing? I still work there. Like, do you guys realize how insane that is? That's like you go to a job interview while you already have a job, right? You're in the job interview and they're like, hey, you know, we like you a whole lot. In fact, we want you to start tomorrow. And you're just like, hey, just let me put in my 2 weeks first. Just let me put in my 2 weeks, and then I swear I will be here 2 weeks later, I promise. And the interviewer looks at you like, yeah, no problem at all, no problem. As soon as you leave, they pick up the phone and they're just like, hey, you guys are ugly. I hate you, actually. And you know, you're not even that good at what you do. We're way better. And this guy, he's coming with us. So a few weeks pass by, and that lunatic was true to his word. You see him on Whole Cake Island, eating all the houses and fighting with the literal army of Big Mom's forces until he eventually gets captured. This is when you realize he didn't even bring his whole crew. This madman invaded an emperor's territory with like 3 people. You find him in jail about to be executed by Big Mom's forces, and as soon as you save him, he's like, tick-tock, Jinbei, I told you we was gonna come for you. Like, there's way more stuff that went into this, like Sanji being kidnapped, and Jinbei knows that, but from his perspective, he asked Luffy to give him a few weeks, and as soon as that time period was up, he showed up and put himself in a situation that forced Jinbei to pick a side so he could leave with him. And that's literally what happened. Jinbei learns that Luffy is here for Sanji and suggests that they team up with another member of the worst generation, Capone Gang Beige. Together they concoct a truly ridiculous plan to assassinate Big Mom with rocket launchers. Jinbei can't believe his ears. He's like, I don't think that's gonna work. She's an emperor, but whatever. Okay, let's do it, I guess. Obviously, the plan goes sideways and they are chased out of Whole Cake Island, and at the very end, Jinbei sees that his old crew, who was working for Big Mom with him, is stuck in battle with Big Mom's forces. So he knows as their old captain, he's gotta stay behind and help them escape. And Luffy says the same thing he said in Fishman Island, like, listen, Jinbei, I understand. You got 2 weeks, and so help me God, Jinbei, if we have to come get you again, it's up. But that didn't have to happen this time, and a few weeks later, Jinbei meets Luffy and the Straw Hats in Wano, and Jinbei officially joins the Straw Hats. And so all of that's really funny, but now we can really get into my favorite jokes from Jinbei since he joins the Straw Hats. Right off the bat, as soon as Jinbei gets into Wano, they do the raid on Onigashima, which leads to one of my favorite jokes in the entire series. So the first step of the raid is them sneaking into Onigashima, all right? They dress up as beast pirates and they just have to blend in with the crowd. Like that's all anyone's supposed to do. Just blend in for now until shit starts to turn up, right? So at the very beginning, Jinbei's mingling with the rest of the queue like, yeah, what's up? We're all Straw Hats here. And he's chilling with Luffy. And Luffy's like, damn, what's that lunatic doing over there? And he's pointing at Kid. And he's like, all right, well, he's probably gonna get us into trouble. Don't worry, I'm gonna go after him. And Jinbei's like, well, all right, you're the captain. Go ahead, go after him. Go stop that lunatic from doing something stupid. We believe in you, Captain. And then, as soon as Jinbei says that, right next to Jinbei, Zoro's like, oh, look, there goes Luffy. He's only gonna make it worse. Don't worry, Jinbei. I'm gonna go after him and I'm gonna make sure Luffy doesn't make anything worse. And so then Zoro runs off and Jinbei's like, well, that makes sense. He is the first mate, sure. You know, he seems really dependable and responsible and I know he can fight really good. So yeah, watch after you, Captain. I know you can do it. So Zoro takes off after Luffy. A couple minutes later, the rest of the Straw Hats are looking around like, God damn it, where's Luffy? Oh, God damn it, where's Zoro? What's happening? And Jinbei's like, no, guys, don't worry, okay? Luffy ran off to go stop Kid from doing anything stupid. And they're like, he's only gonna make things worse. And then Jinbei's like, okay, well, but that's what Zoro said. And so Zoro ran after him, so that should be fine, right? And everybody's like, he is only gonna get lost. And Jinbei's like, wait, I don't understand. Did I do something bad? They're like, yes. And Jinbei's like, well, wait a minute though. That's the captain. We don't let the captain do whatever he wants. And that's the first mate. Like I figured like those two together, like everything should be fine. And everybody has to break it down for Jinbei. Jinbei, listen to me. First of all, Zoro is not the first mate. He just tells people that because he's a dork, all right? That he is not the first mate. We do not listen to anything he says unless it is peer reviewed first, okay? That guy's an idiot. And Luffy, you should know who that guy is. I can't believe we have to explain to you how dangerous it is to let him do whatever he wants. And Jinbei hears all that like, oh my God, you're right. You are 100% right. I don't know what I was thinking. I hope to God it's gonna be okay. It's too late to stop it now though, so they continue with their raid on Onigashima, which leads into another one of my favorite jokes when Jinbei and Robin are both undercover. And this is when we learn that Jinbei is actually Robin's acting opposite. Like other Straw Hats will engage in the acting nonsense that they take part of. Obviously, Nami likes to dress up, Usopp likes to dress up and pretend to be somebody else. I would have never thought that Jinbei would join in on the nonsense, and he was pretty damn good at it too. Jinbei and Robin are out there like, hey, why don't we cut open his guts and pour all the blood in this goblet and drink it like it's wine? Like they were getting way too into it, and I expect that shit from Robin, but Jinbei was right there like, you know, fuck it, I'm not gonna let these people down again. If we're acting, I'm acting, let's do it. So funny. But another joke that I like in Onigashima is when Jinbei is fighting Who's Who, and Who's Who is like, oh look, a dirty fish person. And Jinbei is like, come on dude, racism in the year of our Lord 2025, come pull it together, bro. But the reason why this is so funny to me is, do you guys remember when Jinbei and the rest of the Straw Hats were leaving Whole Cake Island and Judge pulled up next to them like, Sanji, you're nothing but a piece of shit and I hate you. Look, go back, watch that scene right now. Watch that scene and look at Jinbei's face, okay? He is pissed, all right? He is way more pissed at Judge bad-mouthing Sanji than he is at Who's Who for being racist in Wano. And I need you to really put that into perspective, all right? Jinbei met a Ku Klux Kitty in Wano, and that guy did not piss him off as much as Judge when he was bad-mouthing Sanji. I just think that's beautiful. I think it's hilarious and beautiful. But of course, the Straw Hats beat up Kaido and the rest of the Beast Pirates, and Wano is saved. And while they're leaving Wano, the next joke that I really like is how Jinbei still doesn't really have a grasp on the dynamics of the crew, because that's when he learns that Nami has Conqueror's Haki. And it genuinely scares the shit out of him. Like the face Jinbei makes when he realized that, oh my God, so wait, so Nami's actually in charge. Okay, no, that's fine. I wish someone would have told me that. From there, of course, we go on to Egghead. And the funniest thing about that is because he's trying to prove to everybody that he understands it now. Because he's just gotten so much wrong when he was in Wano, or at least he feels like he's gotten so much wrong when they were in Onigashima. So in his head, the whole time while he's on Egghead, he's like, I gotta prove to them that I understand it now. Which makes it funny when at the very beginning, he is paired up with Luffy, Chopper, and Bonnie. Like they're just kids running around eating holograms and he's watching them like he's a dad at the fair. And so far, nothing's going wrong. So he's like, hell yeah, look at us out here being the Straw Hats. Who would have thought? And then that's when Robert bitch-ass Lucci shows up and throws off all the fun. And eventually the rest of the world government shows up and just starts trying to kill everybody. And all of it turns into basically the end of Whole Cake Island all over again. The Straw Hats have to rush to escape the island. And in the middle of all that chaos, Zoro is still out fighting with Robert bitch-ass Lucci, who for some reason, no matter how many times he gets his ass beat, he just keeps coming back for more, only to get bumped further down the ladder. I swear to God, eventually, even Chopper's gonna get his 1v1 with Lucci. But the best part about Lucci fighting Zoro and taking too long is when Sanji calls Jinbei like, yo, Jinbei, you gotta go get that idiot. He is wasting time and he's never gonna find his way back to the ship. And Jinbei is just like, nope, I understand. I'm already running after him. Like, Jinbei was already running after Zoro. He remembered Onigashima and he's just like, you know what? I can't let them down again. Like, this wasn't even his fault, but he wants everybody to know, like, hey, I'm learning, all right? I'm learning who everybody is. And one of the first things that I've learned is that that guy is stupid, so I'm gonna go get him. So Jinbei grabs Zoro and everyone makes it back to the Sunny in time to escape. Which takes us to the current arc in the manga, Elbaf. And without spoiling anything, in case you're not caught up, Jinbei is currently captured with most of the Straw Hats in a dire position. And as soon as they're captured, Nami starts talking shit like, oh my God, you guys are useless. Jinbei, how could you let this happen? And Jinbei's like, how is this my fault? Matter of fact, where is Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji? And the crew's like, they ran off on their own again. Oh my God, why didn't you stop them, Jinbei? And Jinbei's like, okay, I'm confused. If they're so reckless, why do we let them go anywhere? And everyone's like, we don't. They just keep getting away. Hilarious, hilarious, hilarious. Truly funny stuff, man. Like I said, and that's not even been resolved in Elbaf yet. So they're just captured right now. Like, again, without spoiling anything, like, we truly don't know what's happening up there. All we know is that Jinbei is still, like, he's feeling like he has not fully caught up to everybody else and the wacky dynamics that they're a part of, but he's making up for it, bit by bit, every single day. One of the things I'm really looking forward to is Jinbei opening up to some of the silliness and the nonsense of the Straw Hats. Like, a lot of people in the Straw Hats are forced to play the straight man in a lot of comedic moments, but they all, like literally all of them, open up and show their sillier side, and they get to shine in some really, really funny moments. And I want that for Jinbei, I really do. And I know we're gonna get it eventually, so I am not stressed. But yeah, that's about it for this one, guys. Jinbei is hilarious. Did I miss any Jinbei jokes that you think are really funny? Let me know down in the comments. To me, though, there might never be anything funnier than when Jinbei releases Luffy and Zoro into Onigashima like he's releasing animals into the wild, and the rest of them telling him like that was the worst thing that you could have let happen. But yeah, that's about it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being interested, and I cannot wait to see you when we do Thriller Bark in the next one. Bye.